There comes a time in every life when a moment arrives not to be overlooked. A time that demands more than just attention. It demands transformation. July 16 to 21 is not simply a set of dates. It is a powerful signal. It is an emergency update, not in the digital sense, but in the human sense. A spiritual, emotional, and mental call to awaken. The puck. And what makes this call more critical than any other is the reality that many have fallen into patterns of distraction, delay, and detachment. Running through the park, we often wait for the right time to change, never realizing that the right time is now. Not tomorrow, not next week when things calm down. Now. This is not about forecasting doom. It is about recognizing truth. Running through park, the truth that your soul may have been quietly signaling to you for weeks, months, or even years. The truth that something inside you is unsettled, underused, or unheard. This internal restlessness, this quiet discomfort, that is the emergency through the park. It's the warning system of your higher self trying to pull you out of complacency before it calcifies into regret. Many people confuse comfort with peace. They believe staying in a familiar pattern is safety. But what if comfort, it is the very thing keeping you from growth? What if the real emergency is the life you're not living? Decisions you keep postponing, the potential you continue to bury. July 16 to 21 is not random. It's symbolic. It is a metaphorical checkpoint. It asks Yog, are you awake? Are you aware? Are you aligned? If not, this is your opportunity to course correct, running through the park. But let's make something clear. This change isn't about doing everything at once. It's not about achieving some grand victory overnight. It's about intention. It's about making a firm, unapologetic decision to stop tolerating less from yourself. You were not made to live a half-life. You were not born to walk in circles of indecision. Every minute you delay your truth, you invest in your own limitation. And the cost of that is far too high. Between July 16 and 21, take time to listen, not to the world, but to the quiet inner voice you've been silencing. Listen to what your body feels, what your thoughts repeat, what your spirit longs for. This is your mirror. This is your signal. Do not wait for permission. Do not ask for validation. No one can authorize your awakening but you. If you choose to ignore this message, the world will go on. Days will pass. People will move. But deep down, you'll feel it. That quiet edge, missed opportunity. That feeling that you should have acted when your soul was screaming for motion. Don't let that be your story. This is not a warning of fear. It is a calling to rise. Step out of the old story. Step into your new chapter. Running through the park. The next 5 days can define your next 5 years. But only if you decide to no longer sleep on your potential. We are taught from a young age to wait. Wait for the right time. Wait for someone to believe in us. Wait until we feel ready. But life doesn't wait. Opportunity doesn't wait. The inner calling you feel, quiet but persistent, does not wait. July 16 to 21 stands as a moment where waiting must stop and awakening must begin. Window is not magical in itself. It is what you choose to do with it that creates transformation. About fate, it's about focus. Running through the park, it's not about luck. It's about letting go of the noise and leaning into clarity. When people hear emergency, they often imagine external danger. The deepest emergencies are internal. They show up as fatigue of the soul, anxiety without reason, restlessness without direction. Running through the park. If you've been waking up feeling like something's missing, like you're walking through the motions but not fully alive, this is not weakness. It's the inner alarm clock going off. It's a warning not to scare you, but to show you how far you've drifted from your truth. This is the final call to return to your purpose. You see, we all carry within us a compass, an inner knowing. But when we drone it with overthinking, toxic patterns, digital noise, or avoidance, that compass gets buried. And when it gets buried through the park, life becomes heavier. Your energy drains. Your dreams fade. You're not broken. You're buried. The good news, running, you have the power to unearth yourself. But that power only comes when you stop ignoring the signs. Message of this time frame, 16 to 21 July, is simple but urgent to realign. Recommit, reclaim. What parts of you have you forgotten? What dreams have you silenced to fit in or play small? What truth have you denied to avoid discomfort? Now is the time to face those questions. Because a life unexamined becomes a life unlived. And every moment you avoid your deeper questions, you drift further from the life meant for you. But make no mistake, this isn't about blame or shame. This is about responsibility. Real growth begins the moment you stop pointing fingers and start pointing inward. It begins the moment you stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, running through the park, "What is this trying to teach me?" That shift in mindset is the beginning of transformation through the park. It's the true definition of stepping into your power. Imagine who you could become if you stopped running. Imagine how far you'd go if you stopped doubting. The time between July 16 and 21 is a pause from the outside world to go inward, to reflect, to make a vow to yourself. I will no longer abandon my truth. I will no longer delay my greatness. Because the world doesn't need more people who follow the crowd. It needs individuals who choose to rise even when it's hard. And that choice, it begins now, not next week, not when things feel easier. Right here, right now, there is a quiet power in reflection. And there is an even greater power in decision. Period from July 16 to 21 is not just a date on the calendar. It is a mirror, a checkpoint that asks you one simple but life-altering question. Are you living with intention or just existing in repetition? Most people are stuck in loops, cycles of thought, behavior, emotion. These loops feel familiar and therefore safe. Comfort is not always your ally. Sometimes it is the enemy of growth. You might wake up each morning, go through your routine, through the park, meet expectations, and still feel like something is missing. That something is not out there. It's in you. It's the part of you that is tired of settling, the voice that whispers, "There's more." You've heard it before. Maybe you silenced it. Maybe life got loud. But now, in this space between July 16 and 21, that voice is speaking again. Only louder this time. Not as a whisper, as a warning. A final push before the next chapter either begins or repeats. This is not about adding pressure. It's about adding clarity. Because too many people die with their dreams still inside them, not because they weren't capable, but because they waited too long to take themselves seriously. They ignored the signals. They buried the urgency. But life has a strange way of giving you chances until it doesn't. So what will you do now that you've been reminded? Start by pausing, breathe. Look at your life honestly, not through the lens of fear, not through the lens of someone else's expectations. Through the truth of your own heart. What are you doing that is draining you? What are you not doing that you know you must? These questions are not to make you feel guilty, but to bring you face to face with your power to choose differently. Because no transformation happens without truth, and no truth is ever found in avoidance. July 16 to 21 is your invitation to reset. You don't need to move mountains in 5 days. You just need to move yourself. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, into a place of commitment. The smallest shift in direction can create massive change over time. But first, you must shift. You must stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Progress belongs to those who move even when they are uncertain, even when they are afraid. There is no perfect time. There is only now. The warning you feel is not external danger. It is internal neglect. You cannot keep abandoning yourself and expect peace. You cannot keep living halfway and expect wholeness. So stop, listen, reconnect, make these days count, not because someone said so, because deep down you know it's time. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. You've waited long enough. Let this be the line you draw. This be the moment you say, I will no longer ignore the voice inside me. That decision alone could change everything. There is a silence within you that can great wisdom. If you're brave enough to listen, the world around you will always offer noisy pressure to conform, the rush to achieve, the fear of missing out. But July 16 to 21 is not a time to follow the crowd. It is a time to come home to yourself. A sacred pause, a spiritual checkpoint, a rare moment to ask yourself with honesty and courage, am I truly living a life that reflects who I am? Or am I just surviving disconnected from my purpose? The truth is, many people feel lost not because they lack talent or potential, but because they've spent too long ignoring their inner compass. Running through the park, they have allowed circumstances, other people's opinions, or past wounds to define what's possible for them. This is your moment to reclaim your direction, to remember that the only permission you ever needed was your own. During this time, the world won't stop, but you must, even briefly, to reflect, to refocus, to renew, because life is not just about momentum, it's about meaning. You can be moving fast and still be going nowhere. What good is success without soul? What good is progress if it's not aligned with your inner truth? The emergency update here is simply in with yourself. Audit your energy. What are you giving your time to? What are you sacrificing your peace for? And most importantly, who are you becoming the process? This isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about subtracting what no longer serves you, the habits that drain you, the relationships that diminish you, the beliefs that limit you. July 16 to 21 is not just about action, it's about clearing space. Space to breathe, to think, to feel, to remember what truly matters. Because in that stillness, your next step becomes clear. Not because someone told you what to do, because your own soul finally had room to speak. You may feel fear rise during this period. Fear of change, fear of letting go, fear of stepping into the unknown. That fear is not your enemy. It is your invitation. It's a signal that you are approaching the edge of transformation. And beyond that edge, freedom, peace, alignment, running through the park. But only if you pull the fear and choose to act anyway. Don't underestimate what 5 conscious days can do. A single decision made from deep awareness can reroute your entire life. That decision could be as simple as choosing peace over chaos, choosing truth over comfort, choosing growth over stagnation. But it starts with you. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, this window is a gift. Everyone will use it. But those who do will look back and realize that was the moment I stopped existing and started truly living. Through the park, let that be your story. Let this be your shift, because nothing is more dangerous than a life lived on autopilot, running through the park. And nothing is more powerful than a human being who wakes up to their own potential. Through the park, sometimes the greatest battles we face are the ones no one else can see. The silent conflicts within our minds, the inner unrest we hide behind polite smiles and busy schedules. July 16 to 21 offers a rare opportunity to face those battles not with fear, but with clarity. This isn't just about resetting your goals or making a plan. This is about facing the truth of who you are, who you've become, and who you're meant to be. Because somewhere between survival and silence, many have forgotten how to live with purpose. And this moment, this window is here to remind you. There is something powerful about recognizing that you are not waiting for the world to change. You are being asked to how you show up in the world. Through the park. When you stop looking for the emergency out there and start seeing the one within, you take your first step toward freedom. This internal emergency is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough waiting to happen. It's your spirit trying to shake you awake. Every day you ignore it, you trade your potential for comfort. Ask yourself, have I been honest about my needs? Have I allowed fear to hold the steering wheel? Have I allowed distractions to numb my clarity? If the answer to any of those is yes, you're not alone. But being aware is not enough. Awareness without action is just noise. July 16 to 21 is your call to action. Not dramatic or flashy, but honest, steady, and grounded. The kind of action that rewires your thoughts, rebuilds your routines, and realigns your heart with your highest values. Think of this period as a spiritual recalibration, a chance to realign your mental, emotional, and physical self into harmony. It's about simplifying, not complicating. About slowing down, running through the park so you can speed up, aligned. Whether it's journaling, walking in silence, setting new boundaries, or having an overdue conversation with yourself, the steps don't have to be loud to be life-changing. They just need to be consistent. What if these 5 days became the most honest you've ever lived? What if you treated this time as sacred? Not in the religious sense, but in the sense of deep respect for your own journey. You don't need a massive life overhaul. You just need to begin. Clearly, consciously, courageously. Small changes made with deep intention create lasting transformation. The final warning here is not a threat. Park, it's a loving reminder that time doesn't wait. Growth doesn't wait. Life moves whether or not you participate fully in it. You can either be a passive passenger or an intentional creator of your path. And that choice must be made now, not later. July 16 to 21 be a line in the sand. The moment you decided to stop postponing your peace, your dreams, your healing. Because the truth is, nothing is holding you back anymore, except the belief that something is. And that belief can be released today. Comes a time when life asks you to pause, not to punish you, but to prepare you. July 16 to 21 is not merely a date range. It is an invitation to stop running, stop pretending, and stop delaying the truth that has been quietly tapping on your shoulder. Deep inside, you already know what needs to change. You know what is no longer serving your highest good. You've just been waiting for a sign, for a better time, for more courage. But here's the truth, who the sign is here. The time is now. And the courage, Park, that comes from making the decision first and letting the strength follow. You do not need more answers. You need more honesty. Too many people live in mental fog, cluttered by opinions, past regrets, future worries, and the endless noise of comparison. But real clarity doesn't come from outside validation. It comes from stripping away everything that isn't you. These days are your moment to clear that fog, to see things as they are. Not worse, not sugar-coated, just real. And in that rawness, you find your freedom. This is the emergency update, not to create fear, but to awaken urgency. Because without urgency, through the park, we remain asleep to what truly matters. It's easy to fall into the trap of someday. Someday I'll start. Someday I'll heal. Someday I'll commit to my path. But someday is a myth. Life happens in now. Through the park, your future is shaped by today's decisions, not tomorrow's intentions. You don't need a new year. You need a new level of self-respect. You need to honor your soul enough to act when it whispers, not just when it screams. Ask yourself this: what will your life look like if nothing changes? If you continue with the same habits, the same mindset, the same excuses? Will you be proud? Will you feel fulfilled? Or will you feel regret? This window, July 16 to 21, is not promising ease, but it is promising truth. Running through the park, and truth is the beginning of all real transformation. Let go of the illusion that you have time to waste. Running the park, let go of the belief that healing and growth are meant to be slow. Sometimes all it takes is one conscious moment, one deep decision to set everything into motion, not by force, but by faith. Faith in your resilience, faith in your capacity to rise. You've done hard things before. You've survived storms. But this isn't about survival anymore. This is about choosing to thrive. These 5 days can either pass like any other, or they can become your personal turning point. The moment you said, I'm done waiting, I'm done shrinking, I'm done ignoring the life calling me forward. That power is in your hands. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to say yes to the voice within. Because you say yes, the world shifts. The path clears, and the person you were always meant to become finally gets to rise. Some point, the journey inward becomes unavoidable. July 16 to 21 is that point. It is a stretch of days meant not for external change alone, running through the park, but for internal revolution. This is not a time to look at your circumstances and ask, what's happening to me? It's a time to look in the mirror and ask, what am I allowing? What am I avoiding? And what am I becoming? The answers to these questions won't come the outside world. They'll come from silence, from stillness, and from your willingness to face yourself fully and fearlessly. There's a reason why life gives us moments that feel heavy. These moments are meant to shake us, to interrupt the patterns that keep us asleep. You were not made to live on repeat, to numb yourself with distractions, or to stay stuck in roles that no longer fit you. You were made to evolve. And sometimes, evolution requires discomfort. The warning is not a threat, it's a reminder. A reminder that your current path, if it's not rooted in truth, will never bring you peace. So take these days seriously, not in fear, but in reverence. This is your chance to hit reset. To take inventory of your beliefs, your behaviors, your boundaries. What are you tolerating that you know is draining you? What dreams are still sitting on the shelf, waiting for you to believe you're worthy of them? These are the deeper questions. These are the conversations you must have with yourself now. The power of this moment lies in your ability to get radically honest. Honesty is the starting point of all healing. You don't need to fix your entire life in 1 week, running through the park. But you do need to tell the truth about what's not working. You need to stop justifying your own self-abandonment and start reclaiming your right to be whole. This doesn't mean being perfect. It means being present. It means being real. Because realness is the birthplace of transformation. This be the time you stop outsourcing your worth. Let this be the time you stop making excuses for staying small. Let this be the time you decide that fear no longer makes your choices for you. There is something inside you that's deeper than your doubts, stronger than your past, and more powerful than any obstacle in front of you. But it won't awaken until you choose to step into it. And that's what this time is asking of you. To stop hiding, to stop pretending, to rise. These days are sacred, not because they hold magic, but because they hold you. They hold your decision, your courage, your next chapter, but only if you choose to use them. So, July 16 to 21 be remembered not as just another week, but as the days you took yourself seriously, the days you stopped waiting, the days you started becoming, running through the park. Because the life you want doesn't begin later. It begins the moment you decide you're no longer willing to wait.